Hi, and welcome to another podcast with Hanaz Writers Limited. My name's Charlotte, and I am a Year 2 teacher. I've also had experience working in a nursery for children aged 0 to 4 years old. And if you haven't heard any of these podcasts before, then check them out on Hanaz Writers YouTube and Spotify channels. In today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about some writing competitions that are running at the moment. And these competitions are for novels and short stories. So last time I was talking about, if you heard my previous podcast, I was talking about poetry competitions, and now I'm going to be talking about novels and short story writing competitions, and they are running at the moment. So it's a pretty interesting time. I never actually knew that there would be so many competitions for writing during November and December up to January. So, it's very interesting for me because when I was researching into it, I hadn't actually thought about it. And I thought, actually, you know what? There are lots of competitions out at the moment, and some of them give really good prizes. A friend of mine also talked about when they were writing for a competition and they'd written a story and they thought, oh, they would never win, but then they actually won. They were one of the winners, and they never thought they would win. They just entered their story and they thought, okay, I've done what I could, and they won the competition. So they were really pleased with themselves. I can't remember what the competition was about now, but I remember that he said that it was a work he'd never published before, so it was completely new, and he'd written it just because he had to write the story. He really wanted to. And then he entered the competition because he saw someone mention it to him, and he said, "Oh, okay." Because they all said, "Oh, your book's really good." So yeah, so it could happen. You could win a prize. Why not? All right, so let's go into our competitions. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Edinburgh Short Story Award competition. Now, this competition is open to submissions now, and they are accepting until the 28th of February 2025. So you've got a lot of time from November, December, January, February. You've got about 4 months now. And if you're doing the NaNoWriMo competition, hey, you could also use what you've written, and maybe you could enter it into this competition and have a go and see what happens. So this competition is open to writers from all around the world, and they have a first prize of £3,000. That's great. That would be an amazing win. And there's an entrance fee of £11 per story, and you can enter as many times as you wish. Oh, that's amazing. So you can enter as many stories as you want, but £11 per story, of course. But you can enter as many times as you wish. So if you've written maybe 2 short stories, you can enter twice into the competition. It doesn't matter if they're the same or they're different. Well, same theme, I mean, not the same story, of course. But, same kind of style of writing. Because then maybe whoever's reading it, they'll be interested to read more of your work. That'll be interesting. So they're accepting stories in any kind of genre, which is quite nice. Their website is www.scottishartstrust.org/short-story. Okay. You can also Google the Edinburgh Short Story Award competition and find out more about it. Winners will be announced at the Edinburgh Writing Awards dinner, which is held at the Scottish Arts Club in Edinburgh on the last Saturday in September 2025. So even though the competition deadline is the 28th of February, well, they got lots of submissions to read through. So they're going to be reading right up until September 2025. And they'll announce the winners during their annual awards dinner, which is great because then you get publicly recognized for your work, and they'll tell everyone what a great story you wrote. So as I was saying earlier on, they accept stories in any kind of genre and from all over the world. So even if you're not in the UK, you can still enter the competition, and that's great. So you can have stories that includes literary or historic crime stories, maybe romance novels or romance stories, gritty realism, contemporary humour, and more, and so on and so on. Now, there is a word limit of 2,000 words, so that's not too bad, and it is a short story award. And it does not include the title of the story. So you can write the story, make sure your title's there, but don't include those words into your 2,000 words. And the prizes, as I mentioned earlier, are just great. Like £3,000 for the first prize winner. That's great. Second prize winner will get £500, so it's not too bad. And then the third winner will win £250. So even if you don't come first, you have a chance to become second and third prize winners. And you win some decent prizes. So, you know what? And it's £11 per story. Why not have a go? You could win. You never know. Along with this, they also do offer to publicise books for authors who enter. And they're judged, when the books get judged, they look at the top 20 stories. So even if you don't win first, second, or third prize, they will still take the top 20 stories and the authors, and they will publicise their work in the Edinburgh Anthology, which is published annually. So imagine that. Even if you don't win, you'll still be published in their anthology, and that's still publishing your work, which is great because anything that you've written will be read by so many more people. So even if you don't win, it's a great chance to become well known. It's a great chance to become a writer who gets their work published, and you can mention that for the future. And not only do they have this in their main competition, they have 3 extra competitions running at the same time. So along with this, when you enter your story for the Edinburgh Short Story Award, you can also enter for one of the following competitions as well. So they also offer the Isobel Lodge Award, and this award is open to new and unpublished writers living in Scotland only. So this prize only looks at people who submit from Scotland, but it's running alongside the Edinburgh Award. So even though you've entered your story from, say, Brazil or Mexico or, Africa or whatever, they will read your work, but they just won't put you for the Isobel Lodge Award. You won't be able to win that prize, which is fine because you can win the other prizes, and that's great. So the first prize for this Isobel Lodge Award is £750 plus the publication of their work. So your work can still be published, which is great. Now, unpublished means that the writer has never received any payment or money for any of their work or their any work of fiction, or they have not won publication in a book or a magazine before as a result of a competition. So it means that whatever you're writing, whatever your story is, hasn't been published before, or you've never been published in a book or a magazine before. Writers who have self-published and who have paid to have their work included in a publication, or writers of commercially published non-fiction may apply for the Isobel Lodge Award. So if you live in Scotland and you're a self-published writer and you've paid to have your work included in a publication, or writers of commercially published non-fiction, you can still apply for the Isobel Lodge Award when you enter the competition. So when you enter, it says that on the website, you just need to tick the box confirming that you live in Scotland and that you are an unpublished fiction writer. Your story will then be considered for both the Edinburgh Short Story Award and the Isobel Lodge Award. So it's great because they'll put you for both categories. They'll put you in for both competitions. And who knows, you could win both. That would be amazing if you could. All right, the second award that they are running is called the Right Mango Award. This one made me laugh. And this award it's open to writers worldwide. So you can be a writer from any country in the world, anywhere in the world, and you can then send your submission in. You can enter this competition. And the first prize is £300 plus a publication of your work. So that's still great. You'll win some money and your book will get published. And this award is awarded to writers who write stories that are funny, unexpected, and as delicious as a mango. So that's where I guess Right Mango Award says, that's what it says on the tin, that's what its name is. Yeah, made me laugh when I first read it. I was like, huh, I was thinking it was about writing about mangoes, but no, not that at all. I kind of misunderstood that. So they are awarding writers who write these kind of funny, unexpected, funny stories, and it's a story that if you're not sure what that means, it's a story that kind of leaves the reader feeling a bit bemused at the end of it. They're amazed by it. Maybe they're laughing out loud. So you can think of maybe like Roald Dahl stories, the Twits. I think on Netflix he has the spoken word stories as well, and they're just kind of amusing and a bit funny. If not, think about Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel. If you've ever seen the movie or read the book, it's just one of those funny kind of, oh, okay. And then it just makes you laugh, or it just kind of makes you feel bemused, and you're just kind of laughing with it. And you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And it's kind of like a nice find. Or I think maybe Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's another good book. Or if you've ever seen the movie again, it's just like a funny, oh, okay, that's a great funny thing that's just happened, but you're not quite sure how to categorize it. You just know that it's made you feel good after the end. So if you're writing a short story and you kind of think that maybe your book fits into this kind of Mango Award, and it's just kind of a funny, bemusing, short 2,000 word story, then yeah, when you enter your book into the competition, then just tick the box and confirm that your story is a right Mango story. And your story will then be considered for the Edinburgh Short Story Award and the Mango Award. So again, you get put through to both awards, both competitions. So it's still good. And all this for £11. It's actually quite nice. It's quite good. I would say it's quite good. Next is the final award that goes along with the Edinburgh Short Story is the First Right Award, and this award is open to new and unpublished writers worldwide. Again, so worldwide, it's all over the world, guys. You can be in any country as long as you're writing a story. You can enter it in. First prize is £300 plus publication of your work. So again, that's not bad. And this award is for any writers who have never received any payment or money for any work of fiction. So you could have written something and got it published, but you've never been paid for it. Or you've never won a publication in a book or a magazine before as a result of a competition. So maybe you've entered competitions before, you've never won, you've never been published. Then yeah, this one is the competition for you. It also goes on to say that writers who have self-published and who have paid to have their work included in a publication, or writers of commercially published non-fiction, may apply for the Isobel Lodge Award. Oh, sorry, that's the Isobel Lodge Award. When you enter the short story competition, then you just need to tick the box that you think you are a First Right Award, and then your story will be considered for both the Edinburgh Short Story and the First Right Award. So it's quite nice you get entered for both. So this competition is really the competition that just keeps on giving, guys. The Edinburgh Short Story Award. So they only want a story less than 2,000 words, a limit of 2,000. Don't go over, and don't count your title. But you pay £11 per story that you enter, and you can enter as many times as you wish. So if you've got lots and lots of short stories that you're thinking of writing, write them. Make sure they're less than 2,000 words, and then you can enter your story for the competition. So you've got lots of different competitions within the Edinburgh Short Story Award. You've got the Isobel Lodge Award if you're a Scottish writer, you live in Scotland and you've never been published before, you can apply for this. If you're a Right Mango Award writer and you've written something that you think is, oh, this is funny, this is a bit hilarious, a bit bemusing, a bit makes me laugh out loud, then you can enter your book for this as well. If you are a person who has written and never been published before, even though you've applied for competitions and you've never won, you can apply for this. First Right Award. And hey, you could win 2 times. You win the Edinburgh Short Story and one of these awards. So if you're feeling inspired by this short story competition, remember the word limit is 2,000 words, and you can write your story and join in. The competition's open until the 28th of February 2025. So that's great. You've got lots of time, plenty of time even, to write your story and enter it. You can spend your holidays. You've got Christmas coming up. Maybe you spend some time writing your story, then you've got January, February to refine it. Then you can enter just before the end of February and see, who knows, maybe you could win. So I hope that hearing about these competitions has got you excited about writing. Please let me know if they do, because that would be great. I could be talking to or I could be writing to a future competition winner. And, if you do win, you could get your work published and you could win some money at the same time as well. So, it's not a bad, it's not a bad thing, really. All you have to do is pay £11 for the fee. It's really good. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to the podcast. And if you'd like to subscribe to listen to more, click the subscribe button below. You can also hear more podcasts on YouTube and Spotify. And if you have Facebook, then you can follow Hanaz Writers. Their handle is @hanaz.writers. Thank you so much for listening. I will leave the links below to the Scottish Arts Trust the organisation, and you can click through and have a look. If not, you can also Google it. All right. So until next time, bye.